Andy, you good day.
How would you define the words perfect and perfectionism?
You are perfect as you are every moment. Whatever it is you are a perfect version of that. It doesn't mean you won't change, because you always change, and you become differently perfect as you are in that definition of that moment. So perfection is not the end. Perfection is a process. Continual process that never ends. It is the willingness to be more and more of your true self. That's all it is. Does that help?
I'd like more clarification on how can every moment be perfect? Aren't there two sides to
Every moment you are a perfect version of what you are. You are equating the idea of perfection as if you are trying to reach a goal after which you will never change. That will never occur, ever, because you can always change. You can always become something else. Change is the only constant in creation. So the idea of perfection in the way that you're seeking it is to constantly change, to constantly become more as yourself, whatever that means. So perfection is not a static state. It's a dynamically changing state. If you go with the flow, you are operating in perfection, constantly changing. But the idea is that whatever you are at that moment, even though you're going to change, is a perfect version of that thing. Does that make more sense? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm still struggling with this, or challenged by this one.
Is it because you think that perfection is something you achieve and then you don't achieve anything beyond that?
Yes.
But I just told you that that's not what perfection is.
What if you're murdering someone or being murdered? Are those perfect moments?
For what they are, yes, it's a perfect murder. This is not a value judgment. We're not talking about positive and negative here. We're just saying it is what it is, and it is perfect as what it is. That's all we're saying. It is a perfect representation of that act, of that thing. Using perfect in that way simply as a definition of what is it that's going on. That's all we're saying. We're not making value judgments here. Are you associating a value judgment with the word perfect?
Yes.
Why?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
Not at this moment, no.
All right. That's a perfect answer. Do you understand that change will never end?
I guess I haven't internalized that.
What do you think it would look like if you achieved perfection? Can you describe it to us?
I feel like
Give us an example.
I'd be out of debt, I'd have lots of money, I'd have...
Oh, I see. This is all connected to finance.
Well, my body would be healthy, I'd be in a state of joy and ecstasy all the time.
Your body would be healthy. All right. You would have all the money you want. Do you understand that there are different forms of abundance?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Can you name them?
Outside of finance, there's also health, and that's all that's coming to my head at the moment.
All right. Health is a good answer, but outside of the exchange of money on your planet, which is a viable symbol of abundance, being given a gift is a form of abundance. Having something to trade is a form of abundance. Synchronicity is a form of abundance. Imagination is a form of abundance. Communication is a form of abundance. Because abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's all it is. So the idea is that if you focus only on one form, you're closing the doors through which other forms can come. You're invalidating all the other forms. When the natural act is to be open to all forms of abundance, so that in acting on your passion, whatever forms need to be there to join together to create the 100% abundance that will allow you to continue to act on your passion can then flow together and happen and support you. Maybe it will be a little bit of money. Maybe someone will give you a gift. Maybe your imagination will be inspired to think of a way you can do things that you hadn't thought of before that won't require as much money. Maybe you can communicate something to someone that they find valuable, and they will support you in a certain way. You have to let all the forms of abundance come together to support you. Don't limit the idea of what abundance means. Does this help?
It helps. Thank you.
You're very welcome. See, information is a form of abundance.
On the topic of information, I was wondering, what would you say if I wanted you to spoil my surprises or open one of my presents? Every time I've heard you say that, I've always wanted somebody to say yes.
All right. What present would you like me to open?
What I'd like to know about my future, or the best. What is the highest vibrational version of myself doing in a parallel reality right now?
What is your strongest passion that you're not acting on?
I love fantasy art, but I'm actually taking action on it.
Are you taking all the actions you can? And what is your art?
I'm working on t-shirts that are either dragons or spirituality related, and
is that the highest expression of your art that you can imagine?
No, it would actually be fantasy book covers.
Are you acting on that?
Am not.
Why not?
I guess the opportunity just doesn't...
Oh, you mean you haven't created an opportunity yet?
Yes.
Then why don't you create an opportunity?
I will do that now.
All right. Then now you know your future. Or not. It's up to you. Does that help you?
It does.
All right. Happy creating.
Thank you. May I also ask, can you describe what my spirit guide looks like?
A ball of light. Most spirits don't necessarily take any particular form. They usually appear as orbs of light.
Okay.
Will that do?
Yes, thank you.
Do you want to call your spirit guide Blue? You can.
I've been using this idea to try to prove to myself that spirituality is real by having other people that can see spirit guides describe mine to me and then comparing their answers.
All right. That's a fascinating project. Especially since spirit guides can appear as almost anything they wish.
Is there any other way I can prove spirituality to
Be more spiritual.
Okay.
Why do you need to prove spirituality?
I'm afraid that I will be duped,
By what?
that I will have chosen the wrong path for myself and will then be... Bless you.
The body is not sneezing. But thank you for your blessing. The body is synchronistically representing the idea of choking, which is what you're doing on physical reality. Suffocating. The idea is you are a spirit. Are you afraid that you will not continue after you die? Is that why you're trying to prove it?
To a degree, yes.
Do you understand that you cannot cease to exist?
I fluctuate between believing and not believing.
It's not about believing. Do you understand how things work? Do you know that once you exist, which obviously you do, you cannot cease to exist? You can change form, but you cannot cease to exist.
I don't know it, no.
Existence is its quality. That which exists cannot become non-existent, because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. That's its quality, to not exist. So that which exists cannot become that which doesn't. Do you understand this concept?
I think it's a fun wordplay, but I can't internalize it.
All right. Then I would caution you to simply not worry about it. To live your life as fully as you can, to follow your passion. For even if it were true that there is nothing else afterwards, why not live the fullest life you can anyway? Why not?
Do you have any parting book recommendations or transmissions for me?
Book recommendations?
Yeah.
On your planet? Destiny of Souls and Journey of Souls might help you.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are very welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I get this extremely nervous. My heart has been thumping out of my chest.
You mean extremely excited?
Excited, yes. So I feel like my RPM, whatever you call it, is like 250 miles per hour.
All right.
So I actually woke about 3 years ago, and like through a past life regression, I realized I was a mantis being.
You are what?
That I am a mantis being.
You are connecting to
Yes,
a mantis.
I am connecting to the mantis.
It's not you. You're connecting to it.
That's correct.
All right. Yes, I know that's correct.
Yes. And that I come from the Antares.
No, you don't come from.
I come from here.
You are connecting to Antares.
Yes, I'm connecting to the Antares system. So
All
I was
right.
wondering what my role is assisting humanity with actually working with the mantis beings, and if you can share with us more information that you haven't shared.
Are you following the formula?
I am.
Then you're fulfilling your role.
Okay, you should see the way I'm dressed, or feel the energy of the way I'm dressed, and we'll tell you all about it. Are you able to tell us more about them? Normally I do not dress like this, but I was called. So can you tell us more about the mantis beings?
They are the overseers of the hybridization program. Because the Greys, at one point, decided that they had to give up their emotionality and become a hive mentality in order to accomplish the task, because it was so large. They knew they needed someone to guide them. And so, in a sense, the mantis beings were, well, I'll use your word, hired to guide them. So the mantis beings are the overseers of the hybridization program.
I see. So,
They had to give up their emotionality to reclaim their emotionality in the hybrids.
and how are they assisting humanity with that project?
Am I assisting you?
Yes.
Then you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because my civilization is one of the hybrid civilizations that resulted from the hybridization agenda.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
We are helping to make sure, of course it's your choice, you do not go down the same path that the Greys went down when they were humans on a parallel Earth where they destroyed their reality.
Got it.
Remember that the Greys are mutated humans. They're not aliens.
Yes. Yes.
They are what became of humanity on a parallel version of Earth that destroyed its environment and had to mutate to survive. and could no longer reproduce, and so had to use their advanced technology to come to parallel realities such as yours, where human DNA was still viable, that they could add to their own to create hybrids to perpetuate their society.
Okay.
We are one of those hybrid civilizations, and we are helping you to, again, according to your own choices, see that you have an opportunity to not go down the same path as the Greys went down on their version of Earth.
I see. Because I feel they're extremely hard-based, and I'm like saying this very lightly because they can go deeper and deeper and deeper of the layers of the heart and explain and describe things that are so, I guess, abstract to expand our mind. They've been quite informative with my relationship, with them. So,
yes.
Yeah.
They do seem abstract to most humans in a lot of ways, but it's because of the reality that they inhabit. It doesn't always interpret straight across to the understandings of your reality. Nevertheless, they are extremely emotional beings, extremely deeply emotional intelligences, and they have a great deal of intelligence about the idea of the expressions and energies associated with different emotions, which is why the Greys utilize them as the overseers. They are the keepers of the emotions that the Greys gave up.
Amazing, wow. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna jump to my more three-dimensional question on this planet. I have always stuttered, and I do every once in a while. I use certain words to kind of guide me from one word to another. So why did I choose as a soul like speech impediment, and how am I able to train myself and others to speak with ease?
It forces you to communicate more strongly in other ways, doesn't it?
Perfect. That's exactly what I always knew. Thank you.
Yes.
Just confirmed it. Are you able to share anything fascinating that you have not shared yet about the 13 skulls, the 13 crystal skulls?
One moment.
Sure.
Have you visited what are called the Serpent Mounds in your area of Ohio?
On my list.
Go, and when you meditate there, you may get some information from one of the skulls that is connected to that culture.
And is the skull there, or it's just there's a connection there?
The skull is instructing us to say that the word there is a relative term, not meaning to be too cryptic, but the skulls are very cryptic.
So are they there on a different frequency and we're unable to see them?
Yes.
Understood. Fantastic. Can you give us, I guess, a step-by-step example of what the process might look like of actually becoming, I guess, a caretaker of a hybrid child from when we first meet them to everyday interaction?
At first, these sanctuaries will be somewhat isolated, and only a few humans will be allowed to interact according to the hybrid children's agenda as to what they feel comfortable or important in terms of the way that they should interact with humans at that time. Humans will synchronistically be attracted in small numbers to these sanctuaries, and over time the numbers will grow as humans and hybrids become more comfortable and familiar with one another.
I see, perfect. And what role did the fires that just happened in Maui, I guess, play, and how can we best support the sovereignty of the land and the people in Maui?
All we can do right now is sum up the idea that you are experiencing the consequences of choices that were made that are not necessarily in alignment with stewardship of the land.
Got it. Okay. You channeled this super wise entity. I can't remember his name or its name. He was very ancient, and he's the one who went like this. He said, Mazani.
Yes, this was an Anuhet.
Anuhet.
The seventh hybrid race.
Are you able to bring him through? And
not at this time.
Understood. Okay. This is not a question, but an invitation that came through when I was showering this morning.
The shower is often a good meditation chamber.
Yes, and driving. I would like to invite you to join hearts with me, and if you're able to channel through the praying mantis energies, any messages for...
Not at this time.
Okay.
But you will have a dream soon.
Okay. Well, I am so forever grateful, and thank you with my unconditional love.
Our deep appreciation and unconditional love to you as well. Good day.
Thank you.